Still ahead on Good Morning Arizona, a warning for those tempted to buy into a get-rich-quick scheme. There are many, many scammers, just like Bernie Madoff, ready to rip you off. Coming up next, we'll show you how to avoid them and warning signs of an idea that might be too good to be true. Welcome back, everyone. You know, Bernie Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in prison earlier this year for swindling billions of dollars from folks all across the country. It really brought to light all of the financial scams that are out there and the people behind them looking to take your hard-earned money. So how do you protect yourself and figure out if an idea to make money is the real deal? Here with the answers, hopefully, Joe Epps. How are you, sir?
Great.
Thank you very much for being here today. You're a professor at ASU. What do you teach?
I teach forensic accounting in the graduate accounting program at Arizona State.
Why don't we talk first about what a Ponzi scheme is? We hear a lot of talk about that in the media, but, you know, it's kind of a convoluted subject.
It's really pretty simple. If I tell you I can give you a 20% return on your money if you give me $1,000 today, a year from now I'll give you $200 on that $1,000. You give me your $1,000, and between now and a year from now I go out and I get your producer to come in and give me another $1,000 with the same story. Your $200 doesn't come from the money I've invested for you. Your $200 comes from your producer. Mm-hmm. So as long as I can keep bringing new money in to satisfy you, you're going to go out and tell your friends what a great deal this is. You're going to be happy. You're going to get everything you expected out of it. So as long as I can keep bringing new money in and you become a salesperson for me because you're thrilled with it, then it'll perpetuate itself. What happens often, and what happened with Madoff, was that when the economy turned down and people started wanting money out much faster than money was coming in, he couldn't fund it.
Right.
That's when it blew up.
And what do you think the Bernie Madoff story does to shed light on these Ponzi schemes?
You have to trust whoever you're investing with, but you also have to have an element of skepticism. You have to research, you have to investigate, you have to understand what's being done with your money, and you just have to make sure that you're proactive about watching where your money's being invested.
Well, the difficult thing, too, is that so many of these guys, like Madoff, they are so clever that it is hard for the average person out there who thinks, maybe I could invest, try to, you know, I mean, people work really hard, try to make a little bit more for their money, and these guys know how to take you for a ride.
That's what they're masters at.
Well, let's take folks through some of the tips that you provided to us. First, you said, and you just mentioned this one, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Right. When somebody comes to you and they say to you that they're going to give you 20% and there's not a lot of risk, that's a huge return on a long-term basis. So if you look at something and they tell you and your mind says, this is really great, it's probably too great.
Right. And the second one on the list, investigate those you are investing with. That is very, very important.
Right. Check with the Better Business Bureau, check with the state to make sure they're licensed. If it's a federal program, check with the feds and make sure that they are licensed and approved to do what they say they're going to do.
But what can you do beyond just asking questions?
You want to ask them for documentation to provide you with an explanation of how they're going to invest your money. If you have other trusted advisors, talk to your other trusted advisors, your accountant or your attorney, or even somebody else that you know has some business expertise. Okay,
let's try to hit the final 2 points here. Don't put too many eggs in one basket. I think that's an excellent tip.
Yeah, one of the things that came out in the Madoff situation was that people lost their entire life savings. No one should ever put all of their investments in one basket, and even having too many of them in one basket puts you at risk for losing an awful lot of what you worked hard to build.
Okay, and then how you know it's a red flag, if you have questions and you're insisting on answers and they're trying to avoid giving you answers, that's a red flag.
Right. In fraud investigation, we call a red flag something that should pop up and make you think, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. And if they don't give you understandable and complete answers, that's a red flag.
What is the final tip that you'd like to leave folks with today?
Well, probably just enter into your investments with an attitude of skepticism and make sure that you're protecting your own money, ask questions, and be careful who you invest with.
Because I got to tell you, watching that Madoff story unfold, it is infuriating to me to see those people who lost their life savings I mean, this guy just getting rich and living the high life on everyone else's dime.
Yeah, it's terrible, and the 150 years of sentencing he got wasn't nearly enough.
Well, Mr. Epps, thank you so much for being with us this morning. I still maintain it's a bit convoluted, but you're a financial pro, so we'll take your word for it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you trying to break it down for us.